All right, today we're talking about a company called Cognyte Software. Now, you might be hearing whispers that it's a direct alternative to the industry giant Palantir. But here's the thing that'll make you scratch your head. The market values these two companies like they're from different planets. Okay, so just look at this. On one side, you've got Palantir, an absolute behemoth with a market cap around $48 billion, trading at a wild 113 times its revenue. And then you've got Cognyte, its market cap just over 700 million, and it's trading at only 1.65 times revenue. I mean, that gap is just wow. So that's the big question, right? How can two companies both working on the same fundamental problem for governments be valued so differently? Are we looking at a massive mistake by the market, or is there something else going on here? Let's dig in. To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start with the basics. What does Cognyte actually do? And why is anyone even making this comparison to Palantir in the first place? So, in simple terms, Cognyte software digs through these massive, messy piles of data. We're talking communications, financial records, you name it, to find patterns and spot threats. And if that sounds familiar, it should. This is the exact high-stakes playground that Palantir is famous for dominating. But here's where Cognyte's strategy gets really interesting and totally different from the big guys. It all comes down to who their customer is. You could almost call them the Palantir for the rest of the world. See, while Palantir is out there chasing these monster contracts with huge federal agencies, Cognyte has carved out a niche serving everyone else. Regional agencies, international governments, basically customers who need really powerful tools but just can't stomach Palantir's price tag. And their platform is actually pretty straightforward. It works in 3 simple steps. First, it just sucks in data from pretty much any source you can think of. Second, it uses AI to find the insights, the hidden connections. And third, it gives investigators the tools they need to actually act on those insights. You know, Cognyte's CEO, Alad Sharan, he just nailed the problem with this quote. The threats we face today are connected, they're unified, but the data we have to fight them is all over the place. And Cognyte's whole reason for being is to fix that. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the financials, because this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Let's see how this strategy is actually playing out. First things first, their core software business is absolutely on fire. We're talking about their high-margin software revenue, the really good stuff, the lifeblood of the company. It shot up almost 40% year over year in the last quarter. That right there is the engine driving this thing forward. But get this, and this is the real kicker. Their profitability is growing nearly twice as fast as their revenue. Their adjusted EBITDA, which is a great way to think about their actual cash profit, jumped by over 81%. So this tells you the business isn't just getting bigger, it's getting way more efficient as it scales. And this chart just puts it all into perspective. Look at that. Revenue grew a very healthy 13%, but profits went through the roof at 81%. This is what investors love to see. It's called operating leverage. It means that as the company grows, every new dollar of revenue brings in way more profit. It's a beautiful thing. Let me put it another way. Their incremental margin is a whopping 44%. So for every extra $10 in revenue they bring in, $4.50 of that drops straight to the bottom line as pure profit. That's the sign of a seriously scalable and powerful business model. And they're building all this growth on a foundation that's basically a fortress. They've got over $100 million in cash sitting on the balance sheet. They have 0 debt, and they're actually generating cash, not burning through it. On top of all that, they've got a backlog of over $500 million in future work already signed. Okay, so the business is proven around the world, it's growing like crazy, and it's profitable. So, what's the catch? Well, it all comes down to one thing. The single biggest risk, which also happens to be the single biggest opportunity. And that is the United States. So, after 3 decades of success serving governments all over the globe, Cognyte is now making a huge push into the US. And this isn't just some new market for them. This is the whole ballgame. It's the one thing that could completely rewrite the company's future. And the stakes, they are massive. What's the opportunity? Well, if they can crack the US market, they could literally double their business and see their stock valuation explode. But the risk is just as big. They're going head-to-head with giants like Palantir, they have to deal with unpredictable government budgets, and they're the little guy fighting for the biggest contracts in the world. And that brings us right back to where we started. So when you put it all together, The proven international business, the incredible profitable growth, and this huge American gamble. Is this stock a hidden gem, or is it a classic value trap? The numbers here really tell the story. Cognyte is valued at 1.65 times revenue. That's almost identical to a company like Verint, which is growing much, much slower. But its performance, its high growth and strong margins, looks a lot more like a Celebrate or even a Palantir, and those companies are valued many, many times higher. So what this really means is that the stock's current price is basically a bet that Cognyte is going to fail in America. The market is expecting almost nothing from their US expansion, and that creates this really fascinating setup. If they fail, well, it's kind of already priced in. But if they have even a little bit of success, the upside could be enormous. So that leaves us with this one final, really provocative thought. What you have here is a company with proven tech, a profitable business model, and a huge global footprint, all trading at what looks like a bargain price. The entire story, the entire investment boils down to one single massive question. Can this international champion actually conquer America?